they have their very best men on this. This will be the very definition of swift justice.
Hey guys, welcome to another video. This time, we'll be talking about one of the most horrific and thrilling films I've ever seen. Often remembered as David Fincher's best film, we will talk about the grotesque and psychological 1995 crime thriller, Seven. Well, many of you might have seen the film, but if you have not, you better not watch this video, as it contains several spoilers ahead. The film revolves around three characters, Somerset and Mills, and the psychopath serial killer John Doe. Seven is set in an unnamed city that speaks horror. A quiet yet terrifying city where it is always raining and crimes are being committed regularly. Somerset's character can see the desperation of the police as he is just about to retire and wants to say goodbye to the city. The film's setting plays an important part in the film and is probably the most important thing Fincher did. The film follows a dark, neo-noir theme, which showcases the brutality and lack of empathy in the city. During the film, there are various scenes where we can witness the lack of humanity and just the desire to live as you desire. The city is often crowded, and there are many apartments placed on top of one another to accommodate the crippling society. Well, let's just straight away come to the film and what happens in this classic thriller. The film starts with Detective Somerset, who is soon to retire but has just been given a case to solve alongside his new partner, Detective Mills. Mills, unlike the other police force, is very charismatic and hopes to fight evil alone. Mills has recently moved to the city and lives with wife Tracy in a small apartment just above the subway. As seen further in the film, the apartment is a living hell as it starts to shake very badly time after time as the subway train comes through. On the other hand, Detective Somerset lives alone in his dark, gloomy apartment and has no wife or children. The detectives normally start their week, as it is a not-so-good Monday with rain falling heavily and an awkward silence everywhere. Soon, both of them are called to a murder site where a considerable fat man has died with his face in a plate of spaghetti. The man has been ordered to eat until his stomach bursts up. Seeing this horrific case, Somerset asks the captain to assign a different case to Mills, and he agrees. However, just the next day, Mills is called to another murder site where he sees a criminal defense attorney who has been killed after he was made to cut a piece of flesh. And on the site, we also see the word greed written with blood. Mills, horrified by the scene, starts poking around, and suddenly we see Somerset go back to the crime scene of the first murder, where he discovers the word gluttony written at the back of the fridge. Now we can connect the dots that the murders are happening for a reason, and the link with the 7 deadly sins is formed here for the first time in the film. Just after this incident, we see Somerset hitting the library and searching for clues for these murders. He has understood how these cases are linked, and probably he is looking at something bigger and more menacing to happen, which he aims to stop. As he is researching, he is invited by Tracy to have dinner with her and Mills. Somerset joins and the three of them enjoy a yummy dinner. Just after eating, Somerset and Mills start discussing the case and the clues they have gathered and what they could be after. In the next scene, we see both detectives asking questions from the lawyer's widow, and as they're roaming around, they find a hidden message behind a painting that says, "Help me." It has been written with the help of fingerprints, and as the police search them up, it belongs to the drug dealer Victor Allen. Now wait, Allen is not the killer. In fact, he is the next victim. And as the detectives rush to his house, they find him strung to his bed, emaciated and barely alive. By the looks of it, he had been starving for a year and was being injected with drugs throughout. Furthermore, he's also missing a hand. Above the bed, it is written sloth, which further connects the dots and ensures how it has all been planned. Another mystery comes to hand, as Allen is a child molester and drug dealer, and seeing his condition, a policeman whispers in his ears that you got what you deserved. Now, we are getting the feeling that the innocent are not being killed. Instead, someone is just getting rid of the criminals. Tracy invites Somerset for breakfast and confides to him that she is pregnant but has not told Mills yet, as she does not want to raise a kid in this city. Somerset says that he had a similar condition, and years ago, his ex-girlfriend left him for the same reason. He also tells her to talk to Mills first about the child, and if he agrees, then keep it, or else get it aborted. The FBI looks up for the person who has been reading books regarding the 7 deadly sins, and the name of John Doe emerges. Both of the detectives go to his apartment, and as they are outside the gate, Doe appears in front of them and opens fire. He misses, but the detectives start chasing him. Mills gets his arm injured during the process and nearly dies when Doe has a gun to his head. He then leaves and spares his life. When the detectives later go to his apartment, they witness some creepy things like a neon cross over the bed and a junk room with pictures of the victims. They realize that for sure he is the killer. The detectives also find the clue for the next murder, and they hurry off to save her. They are, however, too late, as Joe forced a man to put on a custom-made, bladed strap-on before raping a prostitute. This is probably the most grotesque and painful scene to watch. This crime represents the 4th sin, lust. Fast forward to the next day. We see a model whose face had been mutilated by Doe. The model has killed herself by overdosing on pills, as she was given 2 options, either to live disfigured and call for help or die, and she chose the latter, signifying pride. Just now, the detectives lower their heads in agony and wait for the inevitable to happen. That is, the next 2 murders to complete the 7 deadly sins. Just as they are returning to the station, a man shouts from behind, "Detective, this man is John Doe." With blood around his clothes and hands, he pleads guilty and falls to the floor. The officers capture him in a matter of seconds, and he is detained. Soon, his lawyer comes to the scene and says that the detectives need to accompany Doe to a spot where he will show them the final victims. If they do not go with him, he will plead insanity and will head out. Mills agrees, and the 3 of them head on to one of the most thrilling road trips in cinema. While Somerset is mostly quiet, Mills calls out John Doe for being a psychopath killer and bashes him for the heartless murders he committed. On the other hand, Doe seems calm and brushes off every allegation, claiming someone has to get rid of the sins of society. Their car stops in the middle of a desert, and just as they are taken out, a delivery van approaches them. Somerset goes ahead to take the delivery, and in a state of panic and shock, asks Mills to stay back. Mills keeps exclaiming, "What's in the box?" only to be revealed by Doe that the box contains Tracy's decapitated head. He envied his and Tracy's relationship and decided to end her life and her baby's. Mills becomes even more enraged as he didn't even know about the baby and cocks his gun. Somerset demands him to stop as Doe would get what he wants this way. After a moment of hesitation, Mills shoots Doe, and he shoots him again and again as Somerset and the delivery man watch. Mills killing him fulfills his wrath, and so the 7 deadly sins end. A devastated Mills is taken away by the police, and we see the film end on Somerset's great dialogue, which is a Hemingway quote. "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agree with the second part. The end of the film is very sad, as there are no winners in this. However, we know that Somerset declines to retire and decides to give his all to eliminate the crime in society. This film is a classic, and it kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time. The excellent storytelling by Fincher, coupled with the immense performances from Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and especially Kevin Spacey, made me a fan of the film.